Morning.
I'd like to call to order the June 10th, 2026 meeting of the Committee on Finance, Audit, and Budget. Georgette, could you please call the roll?
Surely. Director Nima Jha. Director Rosa Ortiz. Here. Chairman Lester Barclay. Director Bernard Jakes.
Here.
Director Michael Eady.
Here.
Director Lily Diego Johnson.
2026 meeting of the. Committee on
Director
Fin-
Jakes, you do have a quorum.
We need to, I need a motion to approve allowing Director Requejo into the FAB meeting. He is out for illness. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved. It's been moved by Director Rosa Ortiz, seconded by Director Lily Diego Johnson, that the board, that this committee allowed Director Roberto Requejo to attend the meeting remotely due to illness. We'll take a roll call vote. Director Jha?
Yes.
Director Ortiz?
Yes.
Chairman Barclay?
Yes.
Director Jakes?
Yes.
Director Eady?
Yes.
Director Diego Johnson?
Yes.
The motion passes.
Next order of business is the approval of, well, first, Director Requejo, can you hear us?
Yes, I can. Good morning, everyone.
Okay. All right. Our next order of business is the approval of the committee minutes of May 13th, 2026. May I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved by Director Ortiz, seconded by Director Diego Johnson, that the minutes from May 13th, 2026 be approved as submitted. We'll take a roll call vote. Director Jha?
Yes.
Director Ortiz?
Yes.
Chairman Barclay?
Yes.
Director Jakes?
Yes.
Director Eady?
Yes.
Director Diego Johnson?
Yes.
Director Requejo?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Our next order of business is the finance report. Tom McComb.
Right, Chairman, Directors.
Morning.
Morning.
Okay, we have a couple pieces of business this morning. We're going to start with the monthly financial report. Give me a moment here while I bring up that. Okay, we're going to be reporting results from the month of April. So we will start with system generated revenues. Here's the monthly results. You can see here, year over year, we're still experiencing growth in our fair and pass revenue. It's slightly below our expectations. I think our expectations were a little bit aggressive in the month of April, and I'm expecting that to rebound in May. Non-fare box revenue, you can see there coming in just under the budgeted level. That is one too that I expect in the second half of the year, we're going to start to see some better results from, as well as we start to generate some more investment income. But total revenue for the month of April, $2 million below the budgeted level. That's going to be more than offset with our savings on expenses. Year to date, similar trends moving forward, continued growth in that fare and pass revenue, but slightly below our budgeted expectations for that line. Non-fare box revenue about $500,000 below the budgeted level. Roll those together, $2.2 million below where we're currently budgeted. Again, more than offset by some of our savings in expenses. On the expense side of things, labor comes in right where we expected to, pretty much on budget. Material, as I mentioned last month, we had some seasonality, some variability there in terms of timing as well, leading to a negative variance in March. In April, we've made up for that by having a positive variance. So that timing was accounted for. Fuel, we do see some negative variance there as our average price is higher, but again, we're largely protected because 75% of our purchase is hedged, which is why this is only 10% off from our budgeted levels. Power, we continue to see positive variance there. That's going to start to go away in the second half of this year as some of the credit that we're receiving in the first half of this year is updated for the second half of this year, but we will hang on to that positive variance that we've had so far this year. Security services spend continues to be above the budgeted level. I'm going to talk to you in a couple minutes about an amendment to our budget that would account for these additional expenses that we're expecting in that category in particular. Other expenses, positive to budget, some contractual savings there, so $3 million lower than the total that we were expecting for April. Again, more than accounting for what we saw on the revenue side of things. Year to date, similar trends moving forward. We can see those same categories showing a negative variance and similar categories showing a positive variance. So total expenses pretty much right on that budgeted level, less than 1% off. So $5.8 million positive to budget. Public funding continues to be robust. Sales tax and the associated PTF match are running favorable to budget so far this year. That's going to help us hang on to more of our reserve funds throughout the year as well. Real estate transfer tax coming in slightly below the budgeted level, but really not bad considering what we've seen in past years on that line. Commodities, I'm going to talk to you about a commodities ordinance here in a minute. Not sure why that page isn't displaying. Oh, there it is. To take care of natural gas, you can see natural gas here. We have fixed forward through April of 2027, moving forward into the 2027 budget. And then the plan years beyond that, we want to lock in more of our natural gas commodity and fix that pricing and also take advantage of some of the current market conditions there as well. So we'll be taking care of that one, but no other changes in the commodities page. With that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
No, I don't have any questions, Tom. Thank you.
We'll take questions from other members of the board. Director Ja?
No questions, thanks.
Director Ortiz?
None, thank you.
Chairman Barclay?
No questions. Thank you.
Director Eady?
No question.
Director Diego Johnson?
No questions.
Director Raquel?
No questions.
Director Jakes, there are no questions. You may, I think Tom still has another.
Yeah, he does. Agenda item 4 is the repot of our independent auditor for fiscal year 2025. Tom.
Yes, give me a moment here to stop sharing. Okay, and then let me ask our auditors to come and join this. They'll be the one presenting that report. So here's from Crowe and Adelphia.
Sorry, could I get their names again before they begin talking?
Absolutely.
Thank you. Sorry to interrupt.
Nope.
Let me start with introductions here. Do you want to start?
Sure. I'm Hollis Hanson Pollock, audit partner at Crowe. Sorry, could you repeat your name louder? Hollis Hanson Pollock. Hollis Hanson, Hollis. Okay. Hanson Pollock. Okay.
Christine Torres, audit partner at Crowe.
Ana Ausan, partner from Adelphia.
Sorry, can you repeat it again?
Ana Ausan,
Okay, can you spell your last name?
AUSA.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, take it
Okay.
away.
Good morning. I am here with my fellow partners, both our subcontractor on the engagement and additional partner from Crowe, to talk through our completed CTA's financial statements for the year ended December 31st, 2025. We were engaged to audit the financial statements to determine that they're reasonably stated in all material requests, as well as to audit the federal grant funds to make sure that they're in accordance with the guidelines sent forth by the federal government for compliance with laws and regulations. Alice will start with a summary of the financial audit.
Thank you, Christine. I'm an audit partner with Crowe, but I had manager responsibilities on the audit this year. In regards to the financial statement audit, it has been completed and a clean independent auditor's report was issued, which means that the amounts presented in the financial statements and in the notes to the financial statements are fairly stated in all material respects. As required by government auditing standards, we also look at internal controls to determine whether there are any items that need to be reported under those standards. And we do not have any findings to report under government auditing standards. And Ana is going to provide us an update on the federal audit.
Good morning. I'm a partner from Adelphia and I represent the DBE subcontractor for this audit. I'm pleased to report that it's able to issue an unmodified opinion on compliance with the federal programs for the year ended December 31st, 2025. CTA receives numerous federal grant programs. However, based on the federal guidelines, we focused our testing on 2 major programs this year. And those programs are the Federal Transit Cluster and the Rail and Transit Security Grant Program. Due to the size of this program, we had 99% coverage of federal funds spent, as the Federal Transit Cluster is the largest federal program that CTA expends from. And also part of our audit process, we evaluated the internal controls over compliance in those programs, and based on the results of our testing, I'm pleased to report that we didn't have any findings.
This is a quick summary of the whole audit process of both federal and financial. And we would like to thank everyone in the finance department for providing a ton of information to us quickly, professionally, and working through the entire audit process with us. We know that they've reached out to many departments, so we don't mean to exclude any of those. All of those are just as important. If there are any questions on the audit and the results, I'm more than happy to work with the board at this point in time.
No, just, thank you. The details of everything you had to do when we were, in the meeting, just, you are, you're rock stars, especially when, you say, I'm pleased to report.
Yes.
Thank you, and Tom, thank you, your entire team.
Yeah, it truly is a team effort, right? It's not me, it is the team. They are actually taking a well-deserved rest right now. So a lot of them are not present here at the board meeting today. They look forward to completing the audit and taking a little bit of time at the end of that audit. So yeah, thanks to the team. It really was a very busy season this spring.
Thank you.
We'll take questions from other members of the board.
No questions, just echo Director Jake's comments. Thank you.
Director Ortiz?
Thank you to everyone that participated and collaborated, and thank you for your work.
Chairman Barclay?
Thank you as well. We've had a couple meetings prior to today, but I'd like the general public to understand kind of what goes into this process, how many man hours expended, and along those lines.
So the process begins way back, actually before the end of the year, back in November. And that's where we start with asking a lot of questions and understanding what's happening through the past year. We do interim work, which means we're out here in December talking about control structures, understanding the big grant programs, do several weeks of work at that point in time. And then we give the time to CTA to close the books and then come back in February. And really from February to the end of April, we're asking questions, we're doing work, we're following up on things. So, you know, it is very close to 1,000 hours of man hours just from our end that we're putting in, let alone on this end, because we're just seeing those results and going through them, but we're not the gatherers, the questioners, the follow-uppers. All of that is happening on your side. So it is a significant process that we've boiled down here to very good results. And a lot of people have spent time and energy working and providing us information.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Director Eady?
Well, just want to commend you, because even as I was perusing what you had created, I said this was quite a mammoth undertaking to pull all that together. So you are to be commended, all of you, for working into here the 1,000 hours. I see it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Director Diego Johnson?
No questions. Also want to echo that it was, as someone who just started on the board, it was very informative. So it gave me a really good understanding of what has been going on. So thank you. I appreciate it.
Director Requeijo?
Just joining my colleagues in congratulating the agency and the auditors, especially at a time where so many questions were being posed by the federal government about our operations.
Director Requeijo, for a second, you were quite muffled, so I'm not sure if that's on our end or your end, but just to advise you. Thank you. Director Jakes, I don't believe there are any further comments.
Then let's move to agenda item number 5. Agenda item 5 is the review of an ordinance adopting an amended budget for calendar year 2026. Tom.
Great. Have seats here. Okay, the item before you, this operating budget amendment will add $64.05 million in public funding to CTA's 2026 operating budget to fund additional rider-focused investments. The public funding is available thanks to the new funding sources put in place by the Northern Illinois Transit Authority Act. On May 21st, the RTA board amended the 2026 regional budget to allocate an additional $132.2 million to CTA and the other service boards. The funding level is consistent with the amount the CTA expected for this amendment. There were no changes between RTA's proposed amendment in April and their adopted amendment in May. The funding allocated to CTA will be directed to rider-focused investments in safety and security, service improvement, bus service expansion, and enhanced cleaning. In addition to the additional funding for CTA, the amended budget also updates the public funding cash flow to mitigate any timing issues associated with the new revenue sources. Upon board adoption, CTA will incorporate this amended budget and update our ongoing financial reporting accordingly. With that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
No questions, Tom. Thank you.
Director John, any questions?
No questions, thank you.
Director Ortiz?
No questions.
Chairman Barclay?
No question.
Director Eady?
No questions.
Director Diego Johnson?
No questions.
Director Requejo?
No questions, but I want to test if this sounds better now.
Yes.
Okay.
Director Jakes, there are no further questions?
May I now have leave the places on the omnibus for board approval?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved by Director Ortiz, seconded by Director Diego Johnson, that this item be placed on the omnibus for board approval. We'll take a roll call vote. Director Ja?
Yes.
Director Ortiz?
Yes.
Chairman Barclay?
Yes.
Director Jakes?
Yes.
Director Eady?
Yes.
Director Diego Johnson?
Yes.
Director Requejo?
Yes.
Director Jakes, the motion passes. We now move to agenda item number 6.
Agenda item 6 is the review of an ordinance amending ordinance 025-118, approving the fiscal years 2026 through 2030 capital improvement program. Tom.
Great. This ordinance is an amendment to our capital budget, so our 5-year capital improvement program. So this amendment provides funds totaling $24,849,020 to be added into CTA's 5-year capital improvement program from 2026 to 2030. Throughout the year, as CTA receives additional funding for the capital program, we amend our 5-year capital program to recognize these funds. We last did this in January of this year. This amendment includes newly awarded funds of just more than $24.5 million and repurposed grant funds of about $250,000 for the following purposes. First, we are updating the final fiscal year 2026 federal formula amounts allocated by the RTA to CTA. This is an increase of $16.4 million from the original RTA planning estimates. This additional funding is programmed primarily for the railcar replacement program. Second, we are recognizing the federal congressional earmarks through the Consolidated Appropriations Act appropriated community project funding. Awards include the following: $1.08 million for Southside CTA rail station concession facilities improvements, $2.5 million for the Halsted and 79th Street bus turnaround improvements, $1.2 million for the Rockwell Brown Line station improvements, $500,000 for the Belmont Red Line station improvements, and $2 million for the Forest Park branch track design. Third, a federal Section 5310 award from the RTA as the designated recipient of the funding to provide $900,000 for real-time digital station customer enhancements. And finally, prior granted RTA Innovation Coordination and Enhancement Capital Funds of $256,277 to provide local match for federal granted funds for the Englewood Green Line Station feasibility study. This proposed amendment increase of $24,849,020 brings the amount of the 5-year capital improvement program to $6,912,847,934. With that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Ready for the Englewood Green Line?
Yes, yes.
Much is that?
So it's about $250,000 to provide the local match for the additional federal funds.
Thank you.
Yep.
Director Ja, any questions?
Questions?
Director Ortiz?
No questions.
Chairman Barclay?
No questions. Thank you.
Director Eady?
No questions.
Director Diego Johnson,
No questions.
Director Requejo.
Yes, so first of all, I wanted to share and congratulate the team for finally getting some funding to study the reopening of the Englewood Station. That's been in the works for a very long time. And thanks to the community partners who advocated for this. And my question is in connection to this is when we started the conversations around these additional funds, it was my understanding that we were going to start allocating dollars from RTA and future NEDA into CTA for equitable transit-oriented development. And while $250,000 is something, it is not definitely enough whatsoever to get things started on the capital front. So my question is, where are those conversations at? What is available? And what line of the budget are these dollars going to land on once we receive them? Any updates on that regard through this whole process? Because I have to say I'm disappointed on how slow that conversation is at and how small this allocation was in light of all the needs that we have across all stations, and especially related to the red line extension ETOD.
Yeah, let me give a brief update on some of the information that I have. So as I referenced in the amendment to the operating budget, the NEDA Act provided additional sources of public funding for transit. One of those three sources was capital funds provided by the Interest on the Road Fund. The amount that we expect from that is roughly to the region $180 million per year. That has not been marked in any budget at this point. So that has yet to be allocated. So there is a future allocation coming at the regional level of that Interest on the Road Fund of that $180 million. In addition, along with that amendment to the operating budget, regional level, there was some funding provided for TOD studies at the NEDA level. There was approximately $3.75 million allocated to the RTA NEDA for various TOD and ETOD projects.
And sorry, the amount is how much?
For the operating budget, $3.75 million.
Yeah, so thanks for that. I just wanted to put it in context for the audience. The red line extension alone, we are investing $5.75 billion on the tracks, stations, etc. And there's been $0 so far allocated to pre-development. So while planning, I think, is important, there are developers that need pre-development dollars, and I would advocate and suggest that we do a better job at making sure we start receiving those funds.
Yeah, Director, I would just add, this is an absolutely critical topic for discussion as the NEDA transition takes place. And as you may be aware, there is, some of the additional money was allocated in the budget amendment we're discussing today. There's an additional aspect of that that's going to be allocated to our understanding once NEDA is more firmly seated. And that is a key primary conversation that's going to need to take place there to make sure the aims of all of the goals around ETOD are front and center. And we can absolutely commit to working to make that happen.
Thanks.
Director Jakes, there are no further comments or questions.
May I now have leave the places on the omnibus for board approval?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved by Director Ortiz, seconded by Director Diego Johnson. To place this item on the omnibus for board approval, we'll take a roll call vote. Director Ja?
Yes.
Director Ortiz?
Yes.
Chairman Barclay?
Yes.
Director Jakes?
Yes.
Director Eady?
Yes.
Director Diego Johnson?
Yes.
Director Requejo?
Yes.
The motion passes. Director Jakes, you may now proceed to agenda item number 7.
Agenda item 7 is the review of an ordinance authorizing the chief financial officer / treasurer to execute a natural gas contract. Tom.
Thank you. We are seeking board approval of a natural gas procurement, authorizing the CFO with the approval of the board chairman to proceed with the competitive RFP process and execute a new natural gas supply contract for service beginning May 1st, 2027, after the current Direct Energy NRG contract expires on April 30th, 2027. You may recall I mentioned this during the monthly financial update in terms of when our natural gas contract currently expires. The current Direct Energy contract, now under NRG, started in May 2022, and all available extension options have been exercised. We remain 100% hedged through April 2027 with a 10% swing allowance within that hedge. The upcoming RFP is targeted for release after this June board meeting. Supplier questions are expected later in the summer. And then once we have the RFP and the BAFOs later in the summer, we would expect to execute at that point. The new contract is expected to cover a 3-year supply term from May 2027 through April of 2030. CTA practice competitive procurement. Because supplier pricing is market sensitive and requires same-day execution after the best and final offers, advanced board authorization is needed so CTA can lock in favorable pricing bids are received. You may recall this is similar to what we do with the electricity contract. With that, I'm happy to answer.
No questions.
We'll take questions from other members of the board. Director Ja,
Questions?
Director Ortiz, Chairman Barclay,
No questions.
Director Eady,
No questions.
Director Diego Johnson,
No questions.
Director Requejo,
No questions.
Director Jakes, there are no further questions.
Now I have leave the places on the omnibus for board approval.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved by Director Ortiz, seconded by Director Diego Johnson, that this item be placed on the omnibus for board approval. We'll take a roll call vote. Director Ja, Ortiz. Yes. Chairman Barclay.
Yes.
Director Jakes.
Yes.
Director Eady.
Yes.
Director Diego Johnson.
Yes.
Director Requejo.
Yes.
The motion passes. Director Jakes, you may now proceed to agenda item number 8.
Agenda item 8 is the review of an ordinance authorizing a permanent easement agreement with Comcast and Astound for the Red Line Extension Project. Mooney.
Morning, Bill Mooney, your Chief Infrastructure Officer. Staff recommends approval of an ordinance authorizing a permanent easement agreement with Comcast and Astound for the Red Line Extension Project. As part of RLE, CTA will be relocating a series of public alleyways to facilitate the new CTA rail infrastructure. During this process, new alleys will be built on land CTA has acquired and ultimately will become dedicated City of Chicago alleyways. And the existing alleys will be vacated and turned over to CTA. Comcast and Astound have existing utilities in the existing alleys, which is being relocated to the future alleyways. During this transition period, before they become dedicated by the city, an easement is required for their infrastructure. I'm happy to take any questions on this item.
No questions, Bill. Thank you.
We'll take questions from other members of the board. Director Ja,
No questions?
Director Ortiz, none. Chairman Barclay, Director Eady,
No question.
Director Diego Johnson.
Yeah, will this change cause any physical accessibility barriers at all?
No.
No. Okay, thank you.
Director Requejo,
No questions.
Director Jakes, there are no further questions.
I now have leave the places on the omnibus for board approval.
Oh, second, sorry.
It's been moved by Director Ortiz, seconded by Director Diego Johnson. To place this item on the omnibus for board approval, we'll take a roll call vote. Director Ja, Director Ortiz. Yes. Chairman Barclay.
Yes.
Director Jakes.
Yes.
Director Eady.
Yes.
Director Diego Johnson.
Yes.
Director Requejo.
Yes.
Motion passes. Director Jakes, you may now proceed to agenda item number 9.
Agenda item 9 is the review of an ordinance consenting to Bryn Mawr Landmark District, which includes CTA's property located at 1113-15 West Bryn Mawr Avenue on the Red Line. Bill.
Again, staff recommends approval of an ordinance authorizing the consent to the Bryn Mawr Landmark District. CTA owns property located at 113 to 115 West Bryn Mawr, which includes a vacant parcel used for construction staging in the temporary Bryn Mawr station. The city has formally requested CTA's indication of consent to the property's inclusion in the proposed Bryn Mawr Landmark District. The city's Commission on Chicago Landmarks considers a property to be non-contributing and therefore may be modified, demolished, or otherwise altered and will not affect its future development. Nor does this district impact CTA's operations in the area. I'm happy to take any questions on this item.
All right, no questions, Bill.
Director Ja?
No questions.
Director Ortiz?
No questions.
Chairman Barclay?
No questions.
Director Eady?
No question.
Director Diego Johnson?
No question.
Director Rakeo?
No questions.
Director Jakes, there are no questions.
May I now have leave the places on the omnibus for board approval?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved by Director Ortiz, seconded by Director Diego Johnson to place this item on the omnibus for board approval. We'll take a roll call vote. Director Ja, Director Ortiz, Chairman Barclay, Director Jakes,
Yes.
Director Eady,
Yes.
Director Diego Johnson, Director Rakeo.
Yes.
The motion passes. Director Jakes, you may now proceed to agenda item number 10.
Agenda item 10 is the review of an ordinance authorizing the purchase of primary and excess property insurance coverage for policy year 2026-27. Ashley Newhouser.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Ashley Newhouse, Deputy General Counsel, Law Department. This is an ordinance authorizing the 2026 to 2027 property insurance policy. The policy runs from July to July and renewed every year. Our insurance broker at Alliant marketed the renewal to both domestic and international insurance markets. A consortium of international and domestic insurance carriers provided the best combination of coverage and price. Last year, our premium was $7.1 million, and this year's premium is $6.6 million. This year's premium is approximately a 6.6% decrease. Rates are typically based on the state of the insurance market, claims history, and asset values. CTA's broker reports that clients with good loss experience and adequate valuations, such as CTA, are seeing premium rate relief. We recommend the renewal with this consortium, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
I have no questions, Ashley. Thank you.
Director Ja?
No questions.
Director Ortiz?
Aye.
Director Chairman Barclay?
No questions.
Director Eady? Director Diego Johnson?
No questions.
Director Rakeo?
No questions.
Director Jakes, there are no questions.
May I now have leave the places on the omnibus for board approval?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved by Director Ortiz, seconded by Director Diego Johnson, that this item be placed on the omnibus for board approval. We'll take a roll call vote. Director Ja? Director Ortiz?
Yes.
Chairman Barclay? Director Jakes?
Yes.
Director Eady?
Yes.
Director Diego Johnson?
Yes.
Director Rakeo?
Yes.
Motion passes. Director Jakes, you may now proceed to agenda item number 11, which is the review of our purchase and/or sales award recommendations.
Our next order of business is the review of contract A1 and A2, which are contract awards for transit operations. I have no questions.
Are there questions from any other members of the board? Director Ja? Director Ortiz?
No questions.
Chairman Barclay?
No question.
Director Eady? Director Diego Johnson?
No questions.
Director Rakeo?
No questions.
Director Jakes, there are no questions. You may now proceed to contract awards number B1 through B3.
1 through B3 are contract awards for infrastructure. I have no questions.
Take questions from other members of the board. Director Ja?
No.
Director Ortiz?
None.
Chairman Barclay? Director Eady?
No.
Director Diego Johnson?
No questions.
Director Rakeo?
No questions.
Director Jakes, there are no questions. You may now proceed to contracts E1 and E2.
1 and E2 contracts are awards for communications. No questions.
Director Ja?
No questions.
Director Ortiz?
None.
Chairman Barclay?
No questions.
Director Eady?
No questions.
Director Diego Johnson?
No questions.
Director Rakeo?
No questions.
Director Jakes, there are no questions. You may now proceed to contract F1.
F1 is a contract award for administration. No questions.
Director Ja?
No questions.
Director Ortiz?
No questions.
Chairman Barclay? Director Eady?
Questions.
Director Diego Johnson?
Questions.
Director Rakeo?
No questions.
Director Jakes, we may now proceed to contract I1.
I1 is a contract award for law. No questions.
Director Ja?
No questions.
Director Ortiz?
No questions.
Chairman Barclay? Director Eady?
No questions.
Director Diego Johnson?
No questions.
Director Rakeo?
No questions.
Director Jakes, there are no further contracts or sales award recommendations.
Since there are no further contracts to come before the committee, may I have leave to place these 9 contracts on the omnibus?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved by Director Ortiz, seconded by Director Diego Johnson to place these 9 contracts on the omnibus. We'll take a roll call vote. Director Ja?
Yes.
Director Ortiz?
Yes.
Chairman Barclay? Director Jakes?
Yes.
Director Eady?
Yes.
Director Diego Johnson?
Yes.
Director Rakeo?
Yes.
The motion passes.
There's no further business to come before the committee. I have a motion to approve the omnibus and recommend the omnibus for board approval.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved by Director Ortiz, seconded by Director Diego Johnson to recommend the omnibus, to approve the omnibus and recommend it for board approval. We'll take a roll call vote. Director Ja? Director Ortiz? Chairman Barclay? Director Jakes?
Yes.
Director Eady?
Yes.
Director Diego Johnson?
Yes.
Director Rakeo?
Yes.
Motion passes.
And finally, may I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved by Director Ortiz, seconded by Director Diego Johnson, that the Finance Audit and Budget Committee meeting for June 10th, 2026 be adjourned. We'll take a roll call vote. Director Ja?
Yes.
Director Ortiz?
Yes.
Chairman Barclay?
Yes.
Director Jakes?
Yes.
Director Eady?
Yes.
Director Diego Johnson?
Yes.
Director Rakeo?
Yes.
Motion passes.
I would like to call to order the meeting of the Chicago Transit Board for June 10th, 2026. Georgette, please call the roll.
Director Ja? Here. Director Ortiz? Chairman Barclay?
Here.
Director Jakes?
Yes.
Director Edie? Director Diego Johnson?
Here.
Chairman Barclay, you have a quorum.
Thank you. It has been brought to my attention that Director Requejo will not be participating in the meeting in person due to an illness and is requested to participate in the meeting remotely. May I have a motion to permit Director Requejo to participate in the meeting remotely due to illness?
No move.
Second.
It's been moved by Director Ortiz, seconded by Director Diego Johnson, that Director Roberto Requejo be permitted to participate in the meeting remotely due to illness. We'll take a roll call vote. Director Ja?
Yes.
Director Ortiz? Yes. Chairman Barclay?
Yes.
Director Jakes?
Yes.
Director Edie?
Yes.
Director Diego Johnson?
Yes.
Chairman Barclay, the motion passes. Director Requejo, can you hear us?
Yes, thank you, everyone.
Welcome.
Our next order of business is public comments. Georgette?
Chairman Barclay, we have 4 public comments for today. I will introduce each one of our speakers. I know that we have 3 of them here. And I would say to our speakers, welcome to our CTA board meeting. You do have 3 minutes within which to make your comments, and you will be timed. So I'll let you know when you're at your last 10 seconds, but that means wrap it up. And our first public comment speaker is Antoine Tremuel from Local Union 241.
Good morning, board. Good morning to all. Morning, bro. Before I start today, just introduce my name. My name is Antoine Tremuel. I am a 241 employee, but also I'm a CTA employee. I'm an operator here of 25 years. I'm also on your Joint Labor Safety Committee. Regarding the situation, I'm talking about safety today. But before I get into my safety conversation, I do want to give you all some facts. The last safety bill that bipartisan, that CTA and 241 passed, the unions abstained from that vote. No one from management actually came to ask us why. Passed the vote. Just want to let that information be known to the board collectively. Last time we actually heard from the management was March 19th. It is June. I'll take you on with my spiel. Sorry. Other thing I want to say, as an employee here, I want to know, I spoke to the board last time, I never received a phone call. I want to understand why am I receiving phone calls, not only my counterpart as well, regarding what we're speaking about. I don't know if this is a new procedure, but I am an operator. I cannot answer my phone while I'm working. It is an automatic no-no. I'm appearing before you today to address concern confronting the CTA Transit Authority. This issue has not only affected 241 and its members, but it's affected the riding public, but it's not a concern to the riding public. As you're aware, CTA has been operated with an interim president. The lack of the permanent president has created a vacuum in leadership. CTA fails to address the significant issues of safety violence directed toward employees and the riding public. While broad announcements have been made, what really has occurred other than demonstrating the lack of attention to detail? ATU 241 has partnered with CTA to address countless issues facing the CTA. Among them were COVID, the funding crisis. ATU was one of the most active voices in Springfield during these discussions. To resolve the funding solution, where CTA legislations have admitted that ATU locals provided a keen insight to the operations of the CTA and service it performs for the public. Many admitted that the presence of our local union has been a solution to the funding crisis. It has real life experience the members of ATU to the table and were recognized for the value when problems and issues were discussed and legislators recognized who lived through the problems and speak best. One of the major issues that CTA in the past has partnered with the unions as members of was safety. It was addressed at the highest level of CTA, the president's office. During this period, the lack of permanent president, Local 241 has consistently been excluded from discussions. Management union safety meetings have not been held. Issues of the member and the riding face have brought to CTA every day and have been ignored. The safety report the CTA prepared by the federal government was prepared by the CTA without any input from the local unions whose membership face these very safety issues and very concerns to be addressed. These are the persons who understand the safety issues, and live them every day. These are the same persons who bring real life experience to finding solutions and making recommendations. These are the people who face the facts and have firsthand knowledge. These are the people who can say what's really happening every day on the route, range from those who are significantly affected by those incidents. I am that person. I am these people. Yet the CTA highest office has failed to give a minute of discussion time for people who have the best understanding and lives these issues. The failure to include the group.
10 seconds.
Group and consists of CTA's high level management want to give lip service to the problems, making broad statements and institute policies that make splashes appear both public and large federal government rather than find real solutions.
That's time.
Thank you for your time. Can you give that letter to Georgette, a copy of it? Sure, it's not a problem. I'd like a copy of that letter. That's no problem, sir. Appreciate you.
Thank you. Our next public comment speaker is Edward Smith from Local Union 241.
Morning, everyone.
Morning.
Hey. A little nervous first time. My name is Edward Smith, and I'm a member of the Executive Board of Local 241. I'm appearing before you today to address significant concerns affecting the Chicago Transit Authority. This issue has not only affected Local 241 and its members, but has also impacted the safety of the riding public and it created operational challenges throughout the CTA. As we are well aware, the CTA has been operating under an interim president for an executive period of time. The absence of the permanent president has created uncertainty in leadership and decision-making, leaving many significant issues unaddressed. One of the most critical concerns facing the CTA today is the training of both new and experienced operators. Proper training is essential to preventing accidents, ensuring public safety, and reducing the CTA's liability exposure. Effective training also helps retain operators by preparing them to handle the demanding realities of daily services, including heavy traffic, different operator conditions, and intersections with the public, interacting with the public. And the option of both the newly hired operators and those who have dedicated years of service of the CTA, the current leadership vacuum has contributed to serious deficiencies within the training department. A department that was once regarded as a model for operator instructions has fallen into disarray. For many years, members of the ATU Local 241 have not only participated in training, but have also served as instructors and mentors to new operators. These experienced professionals have played a vital role in preparing employees to safety and efficiently performing their duties. However, today, many instructors report that they have never witnessed so many issues within the department. The training department is widely viewed as being a state of disorder. New hires are not receiving the proper training that instructors believe is necessary for their success. As a result, the new operators are being placed into service unprepared for many challenges they will face. Preventable accidents are increasing, and the recommendations of experienced instructors are too often ignored. These concerns are not isolated complaints. They are being raised by instructors and operators throughout the CTA who have committed to ensuring that employees receive the training and support necessary to perform the job safely and professionally. The current situation affects not only CTA employees, but also the passengers in the community we serve. Thank you for your time and consideration. Thank you.
Thank you.
Same thing. Can you send a copy of that to Georgette?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you, ma'am.
I'd like to thank you both for attending and being here. I know staff from my office reached out just this week even to connect and hear more about these issues. I'm happy to keep the board updated on the conversations that are taking place and the focus on these very critical issues. I appreciate you raising them. I appreciate you coming and giving your perspective of these discussions. I do want the board to know and the public to know that the security report was founded not just in one conversation of input from our employees, but in years of understanding of what they were looking to see. I'm happy to lay that out, but the bus approach to security was 100% put together with employees in mind and the demands over a long period of time for more police presence on buses in key routes that were identified specifically with input from employees. So I want people to understand that. If that's not understood by anyone at any level, we can do a better job of making that clear, and I'm committed to doing that. So I just wanted to recognize that I've spoken with your president on several occasions about many of the issues you've raised. I'm committed to continuing those conversations.
Thank you. If you can hold on for 1 second, I'm just getting a card for you. Our next public comment speaker is Mr. Phil Bronson. I do have a copy of Mr. Bronson's statement that I'm going to also distribute to members of the board and to Acting President Learson and to Acting General Counsel Baker. Mr. Bronson, you have 3 minutes.
Good morning, CTA board members and everyone here in the room. I'm Phil Bronson, Phil Positive. I'm Phil Positive Bronson. I'm a IBEW electrician since 1979. And I thank you for allowing me to be here to talk with the board. History has a way of connecting everybody. And the further you go back in history, the closer we all seem to get. Did you know in the late 1940s, my dad was a conductor on the streetcars. My mom would always talk about, she would say, they really like your dad, and if he had to stay with CTA, I mentioned this to chairman, he would have made chairman. They really liked him. I'm here to talk about my company. I'm with Target Electric. We're a MBE, DBE electrical contractor established in 1991. My dream in 1966, I was 6 years old, I was inspired by a neighbor. I grew up in Agile Gardens and inspired to be an electrician. Became an electrician. We started a business out of the basement. I'm here as it relates to something that happened on a construction site. We work with the prime electrical contractor, Aldrich Electric, for a number of years. There was an accident back in 2006 with an Aldrich Electric employee. And I'm here to talk about the aftermath that followed, which was fraud, corruption, practices, and cover-up by Aldrich Electric, established 1952, Chicago Transit Authority, and their representatives on a CTA's 2006 substation project, where AEI was listed as the IV owner, CTA as the general contractor. Both parties engaged in illegal, blatant activities in an Illinois courtroom to secretly besmirch Target Electric, my family's business. Target became aware of this in 2001. The court found whatever happened within the court from 2006 to 2011. Target didn't find out about this until 2021. Just happened to be on the internet, and all of a sudden I'm like, what is this about our business? So here's where we are. We've submitted some emails to some of the board members, the chairman, the acting general counsel, president here, and a couple other parties. Here's what we're looking for. Based on what happened, this was quintessential wrongdoing and breach of trust, a moral imperative. TEI respectfully seeks from owner Chicago Transit Authority redress and generational financial damages for TEI's name, brand, reputation, opportunities, financial hardship, pain, suffering. Number one, formal apology letter to TEI, federal, state, local governments from entities involved in the fraud, corruption, and the cover-up. Number two, falsehoods and information permanently removed from the internet regarding Target Electric, in a negative way, and a letter which states the truth, issued on the internet. A $150 million lump sum payment to Target Electric for all of the things that we experience as it relates to impacting our minority business.
You have 10 seconds.
I started an initiative to inspire people. I want everyone to take a look at it. It's philpositiveglobal.com. I started Phil Positive as it relates to trying to get people to feel positive about what they want to do in life. So take a look at it, feelpositiveglobal.com.
And that's time.
And I'm Feel Positive. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you to all speakers this morning. Certainly appreciate your input.
Chairman Barker, I call out the last name.
Yes.
I don't see her. I just want to make sure. Patricia Puente. Okay. That concludes our public comment speakers for today.
Thank you. The next item, business on the agenda, is our president report, which will be given by our acting president, Nora Beers.
Thank you, Chairman, directors. Good morning. I wanted to start off by kind of painting a picture of last weekend at CTA, because I think it really lays out the complexity and the amount of work going on across so many departments at any given time as we enter the summer season. So I wanted to take a few minutes to thank employees and management for that work. As many of you know, over the past weekend, and again coming up this weekend, we're doing critical work on our Red Line subway. And I visited those nighttime crews on Saturday night to observe the work and to thank them for that work. And I wanted to kind of explain to the public, because I think they see an impact to service, but may not understand the benefits that are coming from this work. So this is key critical work on our tracks that in just the coming weeks will improve travel times, make faster trains. It's also been strategically laid out in order to improve and upkeep our stations all at the same time in a very concentrated way. So on Saturday night, I was out and thanking in the heat our infrastructure department employees, coordinators, roadmasters, track workers, machinists, laborers, line workers, signal maintainers, foremen. I wanted to give a sense to everyone of the work that goes on when we close down that subway until we open it back up. It's hard, intensive work. I wanted to thank all of them for all of it and get customers excited for the benefits they're going to see in just the coming weeks. Of course, on the operations side, they adjust to that very complex impact and run bus shuttles, reroute our Red Line trains over the elevated tracks all weekend. And I also went out to Fullerton to speak to and thank the supervisors, the bus operators, the customer service assistants, the rail operators, management across all of those departments for executing that flawless. We had shuttles running nonstop all weekend in a very effective way. So I want to thank the operations team for all of that work as well. We're headed into a busy summer season where we're also looking to upgrade our aging infrastructure in this very strategic way. And I'm excited about the impacts and the work that'll happen. Because as a reminder, we're moving hundreds of thousands of riders amidst all of that work. And we're excited about what it brings to the city and the region overall. From a ridership perspective, I want to note that the frequent network investments last year continue to support really meaningful ridership growth. And we've reached a really important milestone in just these past few weeks that our bus ridership is 90% of our pre-COVID levels. So I'm going to say that again. On our bus side, we're running 90% of the ridership that we did pre-COVID. And that's a really exciting milestone coming from our employees, coming from our security efforts, and our investments in our system in service. We're going to be making even more investments in bus service with 4 more routes joining the frequent network starting this fall. And this summer, we're going to have later bus service and more weekend service on routes across the network to help everyone enjoy Chicago's summertime activities. The growth in weekend ridership that we're seeing is also notable. We have now actually surpassed pre-COVID ridership on our weekend days. And that shows that people's travel patterns are changing, that people are using CTA for a variety of activities as well. Over the last 5 years, recreational trips have grown 9 percentage points on CTA. Entertainment trips have grown 7 percentage points, and airport trips have grown 4 percentage points. We track this ridership closely to meet the needs of customers and see where they're traveling and where they need more service. So I'm happy to say that we're continuing to see the benefits of that work, and we'll continue to invest in a way that inspires that ridership. With regards to the always important topic of crime and security on CTA, I'm here to report that we are continuing to see sustained positive progress on that front. After reporting notable drops in crime last month, I can tell you that the Chicago Police Department's most recent press release makes clear crime continues to drop across the CTA. In fact, CTA on crime is down for the 5th straight month in a row, with notable drops across 8 of the last 10 months. So this is not just now, it stretches back several months. We are not going to let up on this front, but I do want to lay out for the board and the public what we're tracking and the notable progress we're seeing. So if you look at May 2026, major crime across the whole system is down 40%. Violent crime is down 33% across the whole system. And as I updated you last time, we're looking closely at the red line. This is an area where we've worked with our law enforcement partners, with our security resources, to specifically deploy to address higher numbers of instances that we had seen over the past few years. And on the entire line, all crime is down 50% compared to last May. Violent crime on the red line is in fact down 77%. And I want to give a sense of what that means in terms of incidents. So that means whereas if you look at May 2025, we had 38 instances of violent crime on the CTA. May 2026, we're down to single digits across the entire month of May. That is an improvement and a changed experience for our riders and for our employees in a stretch that needed that attention to support the people that rely on that service. I again want to thank our law enforcement partners for their strategic deployment. CPD is running up to 3 missions a day of the trip missions that we've deployed with them. Cook County Sheriff is also on the system. We're going to continue to stay in close contact with them about the deployment to make sure we're addressing crime across the system. I do focus on the red line, but we are seeing declines across the system and across our lines in various ways. We are also continuing to see declines in crime on our bus system. And I want to recognize the comments and the complexity of deployment on the bus system. We are very data driven in terms of looking at where there are increased instances on the bus. We take feedback from employees, and the missions that we laid out and did brief the union leadership on before submission of the report. They actually have police officers both on the vehicles and on the corridors that are a key place needing attention. And we're going to continue to do that, deploy in that way, and continue to get feedback about where the best place to do that is. Of course, it's not just law enforcement, as we repeatedly say. And that's why it's so notable that we are about to deploy in the coming months a first ever for CTA Safe Ride Specialist program that will involve violence intervention specialists and crisis intervention specialists. So as we move forward, and the board will be looking at these programs in more detail next month, you're going to see an additional layer of a resource on CTA. And it is our hope and my aim that the numbers that we see will continue to sustain themselves in the name of our employees and our riders. And as I transition to talk a little bit about service, I want to talk about how security and service are deeply connected, in fact. So as you might imagine, service can be impacted by disturbances on the system. And one of the key leading indicators of major delays on our system historically comes from disturbances from passengers. So this work on security is improving our service. We're seeing striking numbers in terms of a reduction of major delays on the rail system. Across the whole system, they're down more than 26%. And when you look at the red line deployments and the crime drops there, what you will see is that delays on the red line are down nearly 50% because of the order that has been brought by the reduction of crime. And that means people are getting to work on time, people are getting to their recreational activities on time, their doctor's appointments on time, in addition to feeling a safer sense of that ride. Again, this work cannot stop. This is not a victory lap. It is not over, but I continue to update you on this to show you how committed we all are to this absolutely important issue. In conclusion, I want to note the other variety of activities that are happening on the system. I want to thank the board for the approval of the arts and culture programming that launched earlier this month. that launched in May. We had the Red Line Jazz program launch at the Howard Terminal. Employees talked about enjoying it. The public was there. I was there. It was a really exciting event. As well as we're taking applications for further arts programming, and we've gotten a really strong response from the public of people that are excited about conducting music and arts and culture on CTA, and we're really excited to tell you about the continuation of that program. I want to point out that the Red Line Jazz program will continue throughout the summer. So the weekend of July 4th, on July 2nd, we're going to have jazz at the Sox 35th station. That's even before that, there's going to be jazz just outside the Red Line 79th Street station on June 25th. And we're excited about both of those aspects of programming. Of course, our iconic Pride Train is now out in the system and running for the month of June on the Red Line. That will be an exciting complement to one of our biggest ridership days later this month with the Pride Parade. And we also have a really exciting aspect of the opening of the Obama Presidential Center later this month. As you know, the board approved the extension of the number 10 bus route to serve that center more effectively. That's in addition to 8 routes on the bus that already serve that. And we've taken a really regional approach and are working with Metra and PACE to make sure everyone visiting that center is thinking about Metra, CTA, and PACE as the best way to get there. So with that, that concludes my remarks. Happy to discuss any questions.
Thank you, Nora, for your report. I want to commend your team on the continued progress we're seeing in ridership recovery numbers, particularly on the bus side. These recovery milestones are significant and reflect years of work across the agency to build a workforce, service, and schedules, and to strengthen ridership confidence. These ridership trends are particularly encouraging as we head into the summer months. Historically, this is a period when we've had an opportunity to attract new and returning riders. And I'm hopeful that the positive momentum we're seeing today will continue in the months ahead. I want to also acknowledge the early indicators of progress you've reported with respect to security. I commend the team and our sister agencies, their partnership and collaboration in advancing these efforts. The coordinated approach is encouraging and it demonstrates a shared commitment to improving safety for our riders and employees. At the same time, it's important that we continue to closely monitor the data and feedback from riders and employees to evaluate our progress. Success will require continuous evaluation, accountability, and a willingness to refine our approach based on what the data and feedback tell us. As I mentioned during briefings, I also believe there's value in engaging leadership within the court system in a broader discussion regarding the importance of consistency in judicial determinations on crime committed on the system. Public safety is a shared responsibility, and public confidence is strengthened when every part of the public safety system is working in full alignment. Continued dialogue amongst all stakeholders is essential if we're going to achieve lasting improvements. Lastly, with the new NETA law taking effect at the beginning of this month, as board chair, I am committed to working collaboratively with our regional partners and fellow service boards to support the law's goals of greater coordination and integration across the region. That said, it's important to recognize that effective regional coordination depends on strong local agencies. While collaboration will be essential to achieving the vision of a more integrated transit network, this board's responsibility remains clear: to govern this agency and advance its mission of providing safe, reliable, and accessible service to the residents, workers, and visitors of our city. Regional coordination should strengthen our responsibility and mission. As we move forward under this new structure, we must remain focused on the unique needs of the communities we serve while continuing to be a constructive partner in advancing regional transit goals. Thank you again to you and your entire team for your efforts. I look forward to continued updates. At this point, I'll open it up to my colleagues for any comments on the acting president's report.
Director Ja?
Yeah, so no questions really, but I echo your sentiments. Couple of things. I think first thing is, I think your report today is the testament that we have the power to change when we are intentional and when we're focused on delivering results that are based on a very defined outcome. And I think that it's a start of that journey. So thank you for presenting that. As I said in the briefing, I think percentages are great. Would be more helpful to the public and to us is including this update as a business as usual for the board agenda with numbers, actual numbers, in terms of incidents, the numbers, any anecdotal stories around that in terms of what we are able to prevent and how we are able to be present when things happen. I think that would be super helpful. The second thing I would say is the proactive nature of putting transit options, like the example with the Obama Presidential Center and how we are coordinating that. I think that's tremendous. And I know how much goes behind that. So kudos on thinking ahead. And I think the time that I've been on the board, like my consistent feedback is like, can we be more proactive? Can we be more proactive? And I think this is, I like seeing this, right? This gives me hope that we're going in the right direction. So thank you for that as well. And the last thing I would say is like going back to the public comment. I think we need to look at some of these feedback that we're getting in these and start to put together some response that are not in the moment, just responding, but what are we doing long term? It would be good if we can look at what existing trainings do we have in place? What are the frequencies of those? What skills in relation to what we are experiencing? And also maybe some examples of what was in the past versus have things changed? Like why are there perception that maybe we're not doing enough? And so maybe addressing that with some numbers to validate, because I heard something around like preventable accidents and stuff, and we don't really publish some of those information. So it'll be good for everyone to kind of know if we've made significant changes or we've paused funding on some of those trainings. If those are true, I think we deserve to know that. But perception of all the time isn't reality. So just having some of those numbers and understanding what are we doing with new folks coming in? Do we need more? And then maybe proactively putting that approach in terms of asking for more funding. Because I do agree that safety and security of our employees and operators are paramount. And so would love to see some response in that as soon as we can. But I'll
Thank you. And we can absolutely put that together in terms of an overview of training, how it's changed, some issues that have come up, what we're currently doing to look at it. I agree it's come up and there should be a broader understanding of the background there. It's a huge breadth of work that goes on. So I don't want to minimize it with a short presentation, but maybe ongoing ways to dive into the information.
Director Ortiz?
Just want to echo and strengthen all the great work around arts and culture. I think it really helps bring out the beauty of our city and being able to help connect that to who we are and what we do. So congratulations on that. I hope that it continues to grow because I find a lot of value in that and helps connect all of the different aspects of our city that makes it great. So thank you.
Director Jakes?
My concern, a couple of things. I'm concerned, and we don't have to talk about it here, but there seems to be a disconnect between management and our bus and rail operators. And I'm really interested in what that connect is, because we've been hearing it for several months. Hearing on one side, we're not part of this, but then hearing from you that, well, you are part of it, there's something missing. And I'd like to know what that something is that's missing so that everybody could, shake hands and be on the same page. Everything else is fine. And, I love data, and I'm happy to hear that the numbers are going down. I hope they continue to trend downward. But I am, and I have to say it, I'm just concerned, especially for our bus operators, because I can't say all of them, but we just keep hearing they don't feel safe, and that doesn't feel good to hear. So those are my comments.
Absolutely, Director. We continue to have limited time here in these exchanges, but I think we do need to dive in so that you better understand my commitment, our commitment to these issues, the conversations that are ongoing, the opportunities for more, and that you can see that and understand those communications and the complexities of our system as well, right? At a given time, you have over 1,000 buses running in rush hour, what that means in terms of security deployment and how that's being approached, right? So I think we should dive in and have regular updates on that so you understand that commitment.
Okay, thank you.
Director Eady.
Yeah, I'm happy to hear how you are approaching the crime and security issues and how you are prioritizing that. As we all are aware, that's at the top of everyone's thoughts and concerns and that. And we're hearing about ridership and how it is increasing. We understand there's some other contributing factors that make that to be. But as people do return, there must be that sense of safety. There must be that sense of safety. So I think that to focus as it appears that there is important, significant. And I think it helps us as we're boots on the ground, we're interacting, we're hearing firsthand what people's concerns are. And it's always about the safety and the crime. Please continue to prioritize that. Thank you.
Director Diego Johnson.
Yeah, I want to say that I am also really excited and really thrilled about the arts and culture events that are happening, what is going on within our city that is also highlighting how vibrant it is. When it comes to security, I would like to see more information on what is being implemented for alternatives to non-policing approaches. And I know that is something that is coming up next month. So I'm very much looking forward to that. And maybe this is the nerdy social worker in me, but I would like to see a strategic plan for these these alternatives to policing, and there's different forms of securities that we will be implementing. Like, I would love to see maybe like a logic model, just something that really highlights the program development that is happening within the CTA, to really take this seriously and implement this in a way that is very deliberate, and we know what our goals are. And it's not just like, oh, well, we're trying to, offer other alternatives to policing. This takes a lot of time. So it's not that I want to see this next month, but it would be really helpful for me to be able to see some sort of strategic plan. I am really driven to look at data and read through different kinds of reports. So this is me on my social service kind of approach, especially if we're working with different community organizations. that might be joining in on these prospects or processes for different alternatives. And then I'm thinking like even, are we doing things? I'm also trying to find that disconnect of like, okay, we are doing something and then the public feels like, we're not doing enough, right? So I'm even wondering like, would it be helpful to do something like CTA campaigns on like bystander approaches, right? Because it's not always about engaging with danger. But like there are other alternatives like distracting or delaying. So this is really near and dear to my heart. And given the fact that we're like approving an amended budget today, I really want to have that commitment that we are going to do these alternatives to non-policing. Thank you.
Thank you, Director. Those are really important points and feedback. The strategic plan comment in particular, we've begun conversations with regards to the unhoused and other people engaged on CTA. We've begun from my office conversations with foundations to see kind of a new arena for resources and potential assistance beyond our more traditional approach through the Department of Family and Social Services and the city. And one of the conversations there is about developing a strategic plan about the coordination of these resources. So while that will not be completed when you hear it next week, I think as we present that information to you, keep in mind the intention to lay out how these things all coordinate, how we're measuring their success. So I really appreciate that feedback.
Thank you.
Director Ricao.
Yes, so first of all, happy Pride Month and happy NEDA Act month or beginning of NEDA Act. I'm excited by the promise of the new legislation, and as you were focusing on security, I wanted to just reflect on the fact that these trends and these numbers look nothing like the numbers I was seeing when I first joined this board about 2.5 years ago. And this is huge. There's a big difference. 2.5 years ago, we were not looking at all these green indicators and all those improvements. So I wanted to start by congratulating you, Nora, and your team for all the work that went into this under your leadership. And my working hypothesis is that this is not only about what you all are doing, it's about how you all are doing it too. What I mean by that is that just like the NEDA Act doubles down on collaboration across agencies, across jurisdictions, I did feel a huge difference when you took over and center partnerships as one of your priorities. And especially I've seen a difference when we open up to share our numbers and our practices with organizations and agencies that go above and beyond the city of Chicago, like the sheriff, or like the Cook County State's Attorney, or some of the nonprofits that you've been working on. So I guess my question to you, and what I would appreciate some reflections from you, is we are starting one of the most complicated seasons of the year, which is summer, right? And there are challenges, of course, with traffic and moving people and all the festivals and all the construction and all of that, and that's going to create some level of chaos at some point. We have the Obama Presidential Center opening and all the influx of people. And also it is a traditionally complicated season for security and for crime rates. So we'd love to hear from you, Nora. How are you thinking about these next few months in terms of that collaboration, and how can the promise and now the reality of NEDA, support these trends so we end the summer on this trend of less crime, more security, better quality.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, first I'd say, the summer and its activity is certainly not new to CTA and our team, right? So what I'm observing and overseeing is as we kick up for the summer, we're working muscles we're familiar with in terms of special event planning, engagement across the city. We start midweek, right around Wednesday and Thursday, in conversation about the special events that are happening across the entire city and how we're deploying our staff, working that into our schedules, adding staff where necessary. And that's coming from our planning team, our operations team, in our control center, coordinating internally in a very, intentional way around the realities of every weekend and then living that weekend. And that's part of the reason I started with the recognition of the work that goes on in the weekend, because weekends for CTA employees are different. They are not a time off. They are when people are even more deeply engaged and watching service delivery to ensure that we're delivering on our promise for people. So there's a very intentional, active work that goes on throughout the week that's very specific to the events happening in the city. And I think the focus on partnerships is key, Director. I mean, my approach has been top down. I'm very actively engaged with the superintendent, with the sheriff's office, with the Cook County State's Attorney directly. And I've observed how that type of intentional engagement from the top down creates results. I would say that the state's attorney's team, I'm hearing constantly from our law department and from the people working with them, it is real, that commitment. We held a press conference at the Roosevelt Station, but the staff is engaged and committed and wanting to see results that deliver for the safety and sense of security. So that approach is just kind of nonstop across the board, and an intentional engagement with the leadership of those partnerships I see trickle down across the staff that we see. And I would say in terms of NEDA, it's an exciting time with an immense amount of opportunity. But one of the things I'm really focused on is stability of our agency, as you raised, Director, through a very critical period of the summer. And every period has its own aspects that make it critical. But the summer does in this way. And I think we're fortunate to have this increase in resources occurring right in the summer months, that we're seeing, an improved experience for our riders and our employees as a result of those resources. So it's really intentional engagement. It's really active engagement from my office down throughout all of management. And there's really no shortcut to delivering in that way.
Thanks, and I look forward to seeing those numbers trending positively next month.
Thank you. I do have one more question. I want to make the distinction between security and safety. And I heard comments about safety in terms of which ties into training and accident prevention. I know Nancy Ellen is left a while ago. Who is responsible? Have we named someone to fill that spot for safety at this point?
So that spot previously was a chief of safety and security. Our vice president of safety is the leadership of our safety department. That's who reports directly to our office, Jeff Holbert. He's our designated manager of safety. And that is in compliance with all regulations to have that person conducting that work. As I did report to the board, we are actually creating two distinct chief positions at CTA, a chief of security and a chief of safety, because of my belief in the importance of both of those aspects needing an even additional layer of leadership. So we will be adding a layer of just a chief safety officer. In the interim, the vice president is the person that carries that work.
Because I'm hearing, the union rep said this morning in public comment that it sounded like they didn't have a seat at the table in terms of discussion when a safety plan was being prepared, submitted. And I would like some further information about that and what took place there, so you can share that with the board later next month.
Absolutely. And we have spoken about the reason for what they referenced regarding not voting on that plan. We had reached out to the union. I'm fully aware that it has to do with their
advocacy for improved security on CTA. And that's absolutely driving a lot of the work you heard about today.
So you can share that with us
Yeah.
next month.
I have another comment on too. If I may.
Sure.
Thanks. I just also wanted to echo the non-police support. I think that's something that we have been advocating for a long time and we've secured funding for. So I'm absolutely waiting, excited to see those pieces implemented. A logic model sounds great, so thank you for recommending that. Committees, structure, plan of action, all of that, I think will be incredibly helpful. So it'd be great to have a timeline and next steps on that.
Absolutely. And that'll be an active discussion around our board meeting next month.
Any other comments before we move on? Thank you. Our next order of business is the approval of the correction to the minutes of the regular board meeting of May 13th, 2026. May I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved by Director Ortiz, seconded by Director Diego Johnson, that the minutes from May 13th, 2026 be approved as submitted. We'll take a roll call vote. Director Ja?
Yes.
Director Ortiz?
Yes.
Chairman Barclay?
Yes.
Director Gates?
Yes.
Director Eady?
Yes.
Director Diego Johnson?
Yes.
Director Requejo?
Yes.
The motion.
Our next item on the agenda is executive session. Sister Flying Baker, it's my understanding today we do have an executive session.
Chairman, there will be an executive session today pursuant to the Illinois Open Meetings Act 5 ILCS 120, Section 2C 21, 1 and 3. Thank you.
I will now entertain a motion to recess into executive sessions for reasons stated by council.
Move.
Second.
It's been moved by Director Ortiz, seconded by Director Diego Johnson, that the board move into executive session for the reasons stated by council. We'll take a roll call vote. Director Ja?
Yes.
Director Ortiz?
Yes.
Chairman Barclay?
Yes.
Director Jakes?
Yes.
Director Eady?
Yes.
Director Diego Johnson?
Yes.
Director Requejo?
Yes.
Motion passes.
session.
Second.
It's been moved by Director Ortiz, seconded by Director Diego Johnson, that the board return to open session. We'll take a roll call vote. Director Ja?
Yes.
Director Ortiz?
Yes.
Chairman Barclay?
Yes.
Director Jakes?
Yes.
Director Eady?
Yes.
Director Diego Johnson?
Yes.
Director Requejo?
Yes.
Chairman Barclay, the motion passes.
We will now address board agenda item number 7, board matters. Georgette, do we have any board matters today?
Yes, Chairman Barclay, we do. Chairman Barclay, may we also address the closed session minutes? Can we?
We have,
Yeah,
we have closed session minutes from May.
Yes.
May of that.
13th.
Have considered during executive session. Up for vote.
We need a motion to approve the closed session minutes that were submitted to the board from both the April 8th, 2026 meeting and also the May 13th, 2026 meeting in separate votes.
Do you want me to motion? So moved.
It's been moved to adopt the closed session minutes from April 8th, 2026 by Director Ortiz.
Abstained because I wasn't here.
And may we have a second?
Second.
It's been seconded by Director Eady. We'll take a roll call vote. Director Ja?
Yes.
Director Ortiz?
Yes.
Chairman Barclay?
yes.
Director Jakes?
Yes.
Director Eady?
Yes.
Director Diego Johnson?
Abstained.
Director Requejo?
Yes.
The motion passes, and the second would be to approve the closed session minutes from May 13th, 2026.
So moved.
It's been moved by Director Ortiz to approve the closed session minutes from May 13th, 2026.
Second.
And seconded by Director Eady. We'll take a roll call vote. Director Ja?
Yes.
Director Ortiz?
Yes.
Chairman Barclay?
Yes.
Director Jakes?
Yes.
Director Eady?
Yes.
Director Diego Johnson?
Yes.
Director Requejo?
Yes.
Motion passes. Chairman Barclay, in response to your question about board matters, we do have one board matter for consideration today, and that is to approve an ordinance appointing a trustee and an alternate to the Board of Trustees of the retirement plan for the Chicago Transit employees.
Does that require a motion?
Yes, it does, Chairman Barclay.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved by Director Ortiz, seconded by Director Eady, that the board approve the ordinance appointing a trustee and an alternate to the Board of Trustees of the retirement plan for the Chicago Transit employees. We'll take a roll call vote. Director Ja?
Yes.
Director Ortiz?
Yes.
Chairman Barclay?
Yes.
Director Jakes?
Yes.
Director Eady?
Yes.
Director Diego Johnson?
Yes.
Director Requejo?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Our next order of business is a report from the Committee on Finance, Audit, and Budget. Director Jakes.
That would be me. The committee met earlier this morning and approved the May 13th, 2026 committee minutes and reviewed the finance report. The committee also received the report of the independent auditor for 2025. The committee reviewed the following 6 ordinances. 1, a review of an ordinance adopting an amended budget for calendar year 2026. 2, review of an ordinance amending ordinance 025-118, approving the fiscal years 2026 through 2030 capital improvement program. Number 3, review of an ordinance authorizing the chief financial officer / treasurer to execute a natural gas contract. 4, review of an ordinance authorizing a permanent easement agreement with Comcast and Astound for the Red Line Extension Project. 5, review of an ordinance consenting to the Bryn Mawr Landmark District, which includes Chicago Transit Authority property located at 1113-15 West Bryn Mawr Avenue, Chicago, on the Red Line. 6, review of an ordinance authorizing the purchase of primary and excess property insurance coverage for policy year 26-27. Committee also reviewed 9 contracts. The committee placed 6 ordinances and 9 contracts on the omnibus. The committee approved and recommended for board approval 6 ordinances and 9 contracts. This concludes the report of the Finance, Audit, and Budget Committee, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Director Jakes. I will now entertain a motion to approve the omnibus.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved by Director Ortiz, seconded by Director Diego Johnson to approve the omnibus. We'll take a roll call vote. Director Ja?
Yes.
Director Ortiz? Yes. Chairman Barclay?
Yes.
Jakes?
Yes.
Director Eady?
Yes.
Director Diego Johnson?
Yes.
Director Requejo?
Yes.
The motion passes.
Our next order of business is the construction report from Bill Mooney, our Chief Infrastructure Officer, and Juan Pablo Beto, our Director of Diversity.
Good afternoon. Once again, I'm Bill Mooney, your Chief Infrastructure Officer, and I'm joined by
Juan Pablo Prieto, Director of Diversity Programs.
So we won't go through the traditional construction report this month. We have a little something different. So we did, as you've seen probably in your relationship with us, we have a lot of footprint in the social world in our construction programs and what we're pushing out. And post groundbreaking for Red Line Extension, we put together a little video. It's been broadcast now on YouTube and other social channels, and we wanted to share it with the board, kind of highlights the celebration in that historic moment. So Vita, you're going to be able to show that for us?
Can I ask a question while we're pulling this up? We were talking about like the work that happens after the subway closes to where it opens. Have you guys done any video series or live share when work is going on? During those timelines?
So for various projects, we have done some highlighted focus things. We talked in the fall about the loop closure, and we did a lot of stuff kind of around that. Out there with the acting president. We did have some support there that was helping highlight some of the work that's going on there. And so I will say in the big construction program, we tend to highlight it more. We have more resources to support kind of that type of production.
Talking about more day-to-day, like business.
Our in-house stuff gets picked.
We should talk about doing even more of it, right? I think there's a lot of opportunity.
Especially when you're working like through the night.
Yeah.
Those happening on a round clock basis. An idea.
Yeah, no, we've done some things over time, and certainly I think we would love to celebrate that work of our own.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Vita.
We'll toss on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Right now, there's a 16-year-old in Argyle Gardens that by the time he turns 21, he'll be able to take public transit downtown to his good job. We need to celebrate that today. As a historian, I'm very honored when they asked me to host this because I spent a lot of my time talking about the history of these spaces.
Far too long, that promise has been delayed. But today, we declare that a promise delayed is not a promise denied. And today we prove that the Red Line Extension is a promise that the city of Chicago is keeping.
We'll be building 4 brand new fully ADA accessible stations right here on the far south side. These stations will not just be buildings. They will be gleaming testaments to providing access to communities who have for so long not been afforded those fundamental aspects of life.
The $5.7 billion project is the single largest transit infrastructure investment in the history of the far south side and one of the most consequential equity investments in the history of Chicago. This project will serve all 77 community areas by creating job opportunities and supporting economic and neighborhood development. Today is truly a great day for Chicago.
This is the power of collaboration, and this is what happens when government is a force for good. Government should make people's lives better, and that's exactly what's happening through this expansion.
When the red line stopped at 95th Street, we were ready then. We've been ready through every delay and through every promise deferred. But we didn't just sit by. This plan was researched by us. We shaped our hearts and desires into action. This is our persistence, and this is our progress. Infrastructure isn't just steel and concrete, but the spine of opportunity.
The Red Line Extension will be ending in my Argyle Gardens community. Opportunity and hopefulness that lies ahead. A day that most of us wondered would ever come, especially to an area of the city that feels left behind.
We're going to make sure it's part of our future and make sure that it changes the lives for the better for families all across Chicago. On behalf of Senator Tammy Duckworth and our whole congressional delegation, we are one in spirit and one in determination to get as much done as possible, as fast as possible.
But if it had not been for the due diligence of our community, making sure that they stayed on us every step of the way, we could not have done this without every step of every level of government, from the county to the state to the federal government, because it took all of us to make this a reality.
Can't really put into words what this means, not just for me, but also the residents of the Far South, being able to have better opportunities.
Feels phenomenal. Feels phenomenal. You know, I grew up in here in Roseland. You know, my stomping ground used to be Roseland Little League right there.
More jobs for the community and the youth and stuff. So we do need more jobs in the community, and we do need more jobs for the younger person.
Transportation impacts everybody. It's connecting all of our communities together, which we don't want to be segregated. We want to be a unified community, and projects like this is what is going to make that happen. So it impacts, every Chicagoan. That's why everyone Chicagoan should care.
I think it will bring corresponding development, so our neighborhoods will look different. There'll be more opportunities, more housing, more jobs, more businesses. I think the sky's the limit for the Far South Side. I anticipate generations from now, this will be the garden spot of Chicago.
So we're glad to take any questions on certainly Red Line Extension or any other projects, but it certainly highlights an occasion that many of you were able to attend. And I don't know if it fully captures the energy, but it certainly is a little drier than our occasion out there. But but it was a great moment, and it was really great to see kind of that remembrance. So
that was a great time.
Yeah.
For everybody that Lottie Dottie and everybody that did it, great. Yeah, great time.
Thank you also for being so creative. I think you always come up with ways to mix it up. I love the construction.
Wait till we get cut a ribbon. We're cooking on that one already. So
I love it.
When is that?
2031.
Can we make it before September?
Something's close to September 1, but not that one. So
yeah. We not have somebody else cut a ribbon on our hard work. It's like, oh no.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Great.
Thank you.
Where is this posted?
It's on our YouTube channel. The feed will get you the link, so you've got it and you can share it. We did share it on our weekly announcements that I think you guys get a few weeks back. It was up on, I think. I think all the board, it gets the On the Track newsletter. That's our weekly RLE newsletter, and so I think it was in there. But we'll make sure you get the link directly. Yeah,
sure you have it in its own email.
But it's on the Insta feed and stuff like that. So.
Have you been getting any measurement on response to it in any way?
I don't know where we're at with likes and shares on this one. We did a bunch of kind of Insta reels on RPM that we were keeping track of competing reels for a while. We had a little in-house challenge going between we had a millennial kind of Gen Z video versus Gen X video that we were trying to see which played out better. Gen X kind of lost on that one, but hey, we've got another project being tried for. So yeah, but
this is one of a series of videos and snippets to promote that day. I know I saw a shorter one even yesterday just posted. So they get positive attention. Yeah.
On like 600 posts to date on the various platforms, just even still we're barely through and starting construction, right? So we do a lot in this footprint. So.
I think it could be good actually to brief the board on the social around Red Line Extension so they understand the promotion of it. So we can do that in the future.
Thank
you.
Anything from you, Juan Pablo?
No, well, we are, we all got through the reevaluation process with the IFR and the Illinois UCP. So we're back to setting DBE goals. We're tracking DBE participation again and fully engaged with our prime contractors to ensure that they meet their contractual commitments.
Great.
Thank you. That's an important component.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
final order of business is new business. Bridget, I just want to mention one thing. I want to congratulate both Marissa and Ravon and congratulate them for their appointments to the retirement plan. So congratulations to you. Is there any other new business?
Chairman Barkley.
Did we say happy Pride Month?
Yeah.
We did already?
Roberto said it.
We
did, but we can say it again.
5-year-old moment. And happy Juneteenth.
Yes.
That's right.
Yeah.
Very good. Since there's no further business to come before the board, may I have a motion to adjourn the Chicago Transit Board meeting of June 10th, 2020?
No, let's just stay to 1 o'clock.
We need a vote on it.
It's been moved by Director Ortiz, seconded by Director Diego Johnson, that the meeting of June 10th, 2026 be adjourned. We'll take a roll call vote. Director Zhao?
Yes.
I think that. Director Ortiz?
Yes.
Chairman Barclay?
Yes.
Director Jates?
Yes.
Director Edie?
Yep.
Director Diego Johnson?
Yes.
Director Requejo?
Yes.
Chairman Barclay, the motion passes.
Thank you.
Woo-hoo.